I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
Radical left wing.
I don't know why you're laughing.
This is gonna piss some people off.
The Dow. I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
Radical left wing.
I don't know why you're laughing.
This is gonna piss some people off.
The Dow. I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
Radical left wing.
I don't know why you're laughing.
This is gonna piss some people off.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I forgot the hello. My name is Ashlee, and welcome to my channel. I apologize for being a little late tonight, just getting everything ready. I'm just hanging out. We're going to talk about Sam and Emma absolutely killing it in online debates lately. So, yes, if you hear a bird noise, that is my cat. I bought her a bird toy that she can play with, and she absolutely loves it. She has torn like almost all of the feathers off of it. It's actually really cute. She like pounces on it, and it's adorable. She runs around the house just like she'll like leave it somewhere and then run to it and then pounce on it. It's very cute. Being late is cool. Yay! Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you like my countdown. Thank you so much. Yes, and so she's making noises, but it's okay. She's just hanging out. She likes to play at night, but that's good because then she sleeps during the night sometimes. The other night she was on my bookcase, like right in front of my bed, and was just like staring at me at like 3 a.m. and I was like, what is happening? I was like, what is going on? She's just staring at me. It was hilarious. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Friday, I did have a little update on Nala. So I took her to 2 different vets. And it turns out she's not 1. She's actually either 6 to 9. And she has like very bad, she has like gingivitis. She has, I think it's called periodontics, but she needs like a full dental cleaning, and I think she's going to need most of her teeth pulled out. And so that's going to cost a lot of money. And I called the Humane Society and I kind of told them, I was like, hey, so this is what's going on. And I'm hoping that they can help me out a little bit. If not, I might do a GoFundMe, but other than that, she's doing great. She's amazing. She's super sweet, and I love her very much. So yeah, she's doing good. She's getting comfortable, which makes me really happy. But anyway, that's my cat update. That's why last week I feel like I was a little discombobulated, and then I didn't post, and then all that stuff. It was because I was kind of dealing with all of that, which was a little overwhelming because I got quoted like $2,000. I got quoted $750 one place, and then $2,000 at another place, and then $1,500 at another place. And I was like, okay, this is a little crazy. So we'll see. I still, Humane Society said they'll get back to me about it. So we'll see. Anyway. Because that's where I adopted her from. But anyway, that's my little cat update for the day. Now she's sleeping. Now she's sleeping. Okay, sorry. She's so cute. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Ryan Grimm and Sam. So last week, we actually talked about Ryan Grimm on the live, and he was saying in his tweet, his infamous tweet last week, that he said MTG sacrificed her career to speak out about Palestine and to speak out against Trump. And nothing could be further from the truth. And so I was so excited to see that Ryan Grimm was actually on the Majority Report that week. And then after, like, they had this debate, they talked about news, and then the last thing they talked about was it was the debate between Sam and Ryan Grimm. So we're gonna watch that. I'm excited to watch that, and then also Emma had like a debate with Mallory McMorrow, and it was incredible. So we're gonna watch some of that as well. So yeah, let's get into it. First, let me share my screen. All right. And then I have chat up so I can see it, okay? Just to let everyone know. I have it up. I can see it. Anyway, so this is, I wanted to start off with this, right? Because we're going to watch Sam Cedar and Ryan Grimm debate about Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay? And I just want to say that when you bring in people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and you bring in people like Tucker Carlson and someone we're going to see in a second like Mark Cuban, like they were trying to bring in when Kamala ran for president, these people do not care about they really don't care about anything. They don't have any values or anything. They're just doing what is most helpful to them in the time that is happening, in the time being. So Mark Cuban was out here like, oh, I hate Trump. I hate him so much. We need to make sure he doesn't win. And now he's sitting here kissing his ass in a press briefing, in a press conference. And so this is an example to why you don't look at people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and you don't look at, and I'm pretty sure Mark Cuban's like a billionaire, right? You don't look at people like Mark Cuban and sit here and are like, no, we should hear them out. Oh my God. Like they should be a part of our big tent. Like if he want, no, because they don't mean it. If they want to sit here and they want to say that to their base, fine. And Sam kind of goes into that, but I just wanted to point this out because it is something that keeps happening over and over again where we're told as the left, oh, we need to stop purity politics. We need to stop doing purity politics. We need to stop like being so harsh on everyone. And like, I understand that. Like regular people, I get it. But people like Mark Cuban who are billionaires, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like Tucker Carlson, like these are not normal regular people who are like just voting or just whatever. These are media figures. These are people that have sway, that have influence. And Mark being like, oh no, Mark Cuban, he really does, like, he doesn't want Trump. We should really let him in on our side, or we should really like care that he wants to sit here and campaign with Kamala. It's like, no. The minute that you let a billionaire like Mark Cuban in, the minute you let him start to help you or dictate how you run is the minute that you are now bought. You are now bought by these billionaires and by these big corporations. And they will switch sides. They will flip it up. They will have no policy foundation, nothing, because that's not what this is about. This is about how they get power. This is about how they get what they want out of this administration, right? And out of this situation. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson just happen to be benefiting from going against Trump, right? And Mark Cuban obviously thinks that he can benefit by licking the boot of Trump. So here we are. AOC should not spiel about BBB. Don't give her visibility. Let her become a nobody. 100%. 100%. Like, I agree 100%. And I guess, I just hate that, like, this is a conversation we have to have because people like Jank and Ryan Grimm are like, oh, look, she like sacrificed her career. Shouldn't we be so excited? Shouldn't we be so happy? No. If she wants to move her people, I guess, more to the left, I guess, sure. But it's not doing anything for people on the left or people in the middle, but bringing them more to the right wing. Anyway, here's this. Or just not doing anything at all. People are just going to stop watching, they're just going to stop watching you if you keep bringing Marjorie Taylor Greene on. No, AOC brought BBB into the discourse. Oh, no, I know she did. Yeah, no, I know she did. And and she brought her name up. I know. And she shouldn't have. I think like, I get that they don't like each other, and I get that, like, pointing her out because there are people on the left who are trying to like say that she sacrificed her career, try to give her these credentials that she doesn't deserve. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. I mean, should we really be talking about her? Because the more we talk about her, the worse it gets, because the more popular she is or the more influence she has. So I get that. No, I get that. Okay, let's watch this. So this is Mark Cuban. Thank you for having me, President Trump. I think other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of Trump RX. So this is just him up there saying that. And then there's another one.
Thank you for having me, Mr. President. I think other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of TrumpRx.com.
Okay, and then there's another one, and it's this one. Okay, so do you regret supporting former Vice President Kamala Harris? And he says, I'm not going into my politics at all. And see, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I hate. This is what I hate. And like, I remember when Mark Cuban was over here, like, being like, oh, you know, we gotta get, Trump can't win, da 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 da. And then I remember even after that, he was anti-Trump. And then somewhere a couple months ago, he switched and was like, oh, I guess I see all these other millionaires and billionaires getting what they need, getting what they want, all these tech oligarchs getting what they want by licking the boot. So I guess I'll do that now too. So that's what he's doing. And so it says, do you regret supporting Vice President Kamala Harris? And he says, I'm not going into my politics at all. So now, all of a sudden, he doesn't do politics anymore. All of a sudden, Mark Cuban doesn't do politics anymore. Interesting. A very interesting take from someone who said we shouldn't get Trump into office, and now you're licking the boot to get what you want.
Do you regret supporting former Vice President?
I'm not going into my politics at all.
Have you always been? Do you regret supporting former?
Interesting. Yeah, it's because he's a billionaire and he's going to do what's best for him no matter what. Just like all the rest of these people are just going to do what's best for them no matter what. And I just wanted to bring that up as we watch Sam Seder and Ryan Grimm debate about trying to whitewash Marjorie Taylor Greene's image and talking about this, because I think he's a good example of why you have to look at people and you have to look at their actions and you have to look at what they're going to gain from this from a personal and like selfish standpoint, instead of just being like, oh, well, they're saying the right thing. Oh, well, she seems to be kind of saying the right thing. So we should give her all this praise. Like, no. Also, though, I do think AOC bringing her up was probably to get it to become a story, because I do think she's running for something. Whether she's running for president or senate, I don't know. I think it's president, but I do think she did that on purpose to try to, because it became like a whirlwind in the online media sphere. So maybe she was doing it on purpose, so it would get attention. I don't know. All right, so let's get to it. Let's watch this. So this is Sam Seder versus Ryan Grimm. And yes, let's get to it.
This is what why people are tuning in. And so for, my radio instincts are like, you backload this. We would have held people over the commercial break many times. So you tweeted out. Can we find that tweet? We should have probably pulled this. You tweeted out, there's obviously like this happens over and over again. It seems like there's like waves in which ways that AOC is attacked. I'm not saying you were attacking AOC, but that in that waves of attacks. And here it is, Ryan Grimm. Here it is. This is what you tweeted out. What was the date on this? May 8th or something. Okay, so this is in response to AOC saying that she doesn't personally trust Marjorie Taylor Greene, thinks he's sort of Johnny come lately. She was at an event where they asked her about making transpartisan coalitions. And she's talking about legislation. She's paired up with she's done this many times maybe more than most in Congress
Sam's taking forever
with
to
Republicans to
go
push
over this.
legislation. She said, I wouldn't do this with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you swooped in and wrote, MTG sacrificed her. Hold on for 1 second. You wrote, MTG sacrificed her political career to stand against genocide, against Trump, against the Epstein class, and to defend the survivors of Epstein's trafficking. If that doesn't earn credibility, I don't know what possibly could. Okay. What the? I mean, come on.
I was so excited when Ryan Grimm came on because I was like, yes, Sam's gonna get him. And I love that he's just like, what the fuck? Like, sacrificed? What is wrong with you? Like, there is something wrong with you. What are you thinking? Yes, he did put the music on, and Ryan Grimm deserves that music, okay? He deserves that music. He does, because that is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life, and it pissed me off when I read it, because I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean sacrificed? Oh my God. Also, I think Nala, my cat, I think she's finally getting used to my yelling, because the other week when I was doing this, or when I was doing, or I was recording a video, she like went under my bed and hid, and I felt so bad. And now she's just over to the side sleeping. No, she's just chilling. It's kind of cool. Okay, anyway.
Why don't we also read what I didn't say there? There are a lot of things I didn't say that people ascribe to that.
Well, let me say this. I disagree with the second word in that, sacrificed.
Yes.
Because if you recall that her one piece of legislation that she promoted, this amendment to a defense bill, which AOC voted against the entire bill, we should say, came immediately after she was rejected by Donald Trump to run for Senate and for governor in Georgia. He said, no, Marjorie. This is also after she was basically kept from House leadership. So she's got her millions of dollars that she has done by insider trading in the House. Not illegal, but arguably unethical.
Yeah. And some of those defense contractors, right? Yeah, some of those defense contractors. And so she didn't sacrifice shit. She didn't sacrifice shit. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like, was he just trying to get people mad? Was that his purpose? Like, was that rage bait? You know, because if it was rage bait, I took it. I took the rage bait, because what do you mean sacrifice? Like, I think that's the part that pisses me off the most, is that he said sacrificed. Sacrificed what? What is she sacrificing? And she saw herself as Trump VP. She did. She really thought she was going to get it, and everyone's like, sweetie. Like, sweetie, no. Not happening. That's not what's gonna happen here. Yeah, I never thought she had a chance. I think when I talked about it the first couple times, I was like, oh God, that would be the most insane thing in the world. But I don't think he would ever pick a woman vice president, just because I don't think well, of course, Trump doesn't respect women, but also I don't think he doesn't want to listen to them. And most of the women in his administration, he's already fired, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming up. And so I'm like, he was never going to pick you, sweetie. He just wasn't. He wasn't. And you fell for it anyway. And so now she's taking her revenge. That is what she's doing. And it has nothing to do with sacrificing her career. It has nothing to do with actually caring about anything. It is simply a selfish move for herself. That's it. That's it.
And she decides she doesn't want to be in Congress anymore, so much so that she's going to resign in 5 months from that time. It was mid.
Exactly. And then she resigned. She quit. She didn't sacrifice shit. She didn't sacrifice shit. Crazy.
July, where she got the axe on the and that's when she also introduced the legislation. So she didn't really sacrifice her political career.
No.
She took the only path that was available to her,
Yes.
which is, I'm going to leave. Maybe she'll come back someday. But she had nowhere else to go.
No, there's another path. The path is continuing to be in the House. Lots of people have tried to get Trump's endorsement to run statewide for something, not gotten it, and they keep it moving. Like she didn't have to go after him. No, you don't have to quit. She could.
Oh, she was pissed. She was spurned.
I love how he's defending this still too. He's like defending it. I don't even understand on what world, on what planet are you defending this? You're like, oh well, she could have done other things. What do you mean? She quit. She didn't sacrifice shit. She quit. And do you know what happened to her? Which has happened to, like I said, which has happened to a lot of other women in this administration, is she fucked around and she found out. That's what happened. She sat here and she wanted, just like Ben Shapiro, just like all these other people who wanted to sit here and wanted to, just spew this vitriol about everybody else, about all the other people that they deem as others, right? As they deem as different. That's what they did. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene did. That's what all of these people did. And then do you know what happened? It came back around and bit you in the ass because they were never going to let you have any kind of power. They were never going to let you have that. You were just a pawn in their little game. And then when she realized that, she was like, oh, F this. I'm gonna do my own thing. And so that's what she's doing now, right? It's so much so that she literally quit Congress. She didn't want to be in Congress. She didn't want to help anybody. She wanted to insider trade to enrich herself. And then once she had what she came there for, she quit and suddenly stopped caring about all of these things that she said that she cared about all of these things. She's still going on about how she cares about all this shit, right? But she left Congress. She could be fighting. She could be doing something, but she left. So it's just like she is a she's not a victim. She's not a victim, but like she got bit by the, I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did this to herself, right? She did. She wanted to join this movement. She wanted to be QAnon. She wanted to be MAGA. She wanted to do all this. And then it came around and it bit her in the ass because they don't care about women. They don't think even most women should be in any position of power. And you found out. You found out really quick. And a lot of other women in that administration are too. So there you go. She got all the money she could get. Exactly. She didn't care about anyone. It's all BS. And you know what's so funny is every time they talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're like, they always said, no, she really cares about this stuff. Like she's, some people believe it, some people don't, and it's all an act, but she really cares. Like she actually believes this. And now I'm like, I don't think she did. I don't think she ever did. I think she went in there I think maybe she did in the QAnon days initially. But I think once she got in Congress, she realized she could enrich herself, and that's exactly what she did. And now she's trying to act like she's against all of these things and she's fighting for all of these things. But she left Congress, and what has she done but have a little media tour? What tangible thing has she done since leaving Congress to help anybody, to help any of the issues that she says she cares about? She hasn't done anything. She's just been going on media tours because she's still trying to enrich herself. Her last move was to pass an anti-trans BS. Exactly. And that's why I have a problem. That's why I have a problem with this. I have a huge problem with this because it's the same thing. It's like, oh, well, we agree on like 1% of this one issue. So therefore we should just bring them in and everything is hunky dory. But then when it comes to leftists, it's like, you guys are so radical. The radical leftists, they're just tainting our party. It's ridiculous. She carried it first. She the ex-GF archetype. That's funny. Okay, I guess we should keep going. Yeah, we're only like 3 minutes in. Okay. Anyway.
I mean, look, yeah, she didn't have to do that, but we've seen her impulse control. We played the video of her peering through AOC's letter slot. Maybe drunk, maybe not. I'm not sure which is a better explanation. Sandy! Like, we have seen impulse control is not necessarily her thing. And I don't know,
by the way, I said separately that I fully understand why AOC personally has a grudge that she's not going to let up.
Oh, sure.
MTG.
Yes.
MTG has not apologized for that. MTG has targeted her.
Yes, and I totally agree. Now, do I think that should have gotten in AOC's way when she was voting on stuff? No, I don't. I don't think that, but I do understand why she hates her so much. I do get that, because on a personal level, that makes sense. But again, do I think it should have any input on how she votes? No, I do not. I don't. Yeah, but I do understand why personally she would maybe want to do that. Yeah, honestly, I think the more that I think about it, I think AOC called her out on purpose, to get these clicks. The defensive weapon argument was dumb. Wait, the defensive weapon argument was dumb. I don't know if I know what you're talking about here. Let's hear it.
Personally, like creepily at her door.
Oh, you're talking about AOC. What am I? Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Okay, no. Yes, you're right. It was so dumb and it was really stupid because there's no such thing. Like, Israel's committing a genocide, and it's not just like it's not just on Palestine either. They're committing a genocide, and they're committing genocides because they've been also bombing Lebanon consistently, and so. When you were the aggressor, the Iron Dome, thank you. I know. I don't know why. I read it and I was like, why am I not? Okay, it just takes me a second sometimes. It just takes me a second. Anyway, sorry. But no, it is dumb because they are committing a genocide, and there's no such thing as defensive weapons when you are committing a genocide against a state that you occupied that doesn't even have like their own military. Like, it's not a war, it's a genocide. So there's no such thing as defensive weapons. They are all offensive weapons. And it's ridiculous that she felt the need to make that argument. It is very corporate Dem, and it is extremely it's extreme. That was an extremely disappointing argument, and I think everyone saw right through it, and I think she was rightly criticized for it, and I think she's still being rightly criticized for it. Like, I do think she has gotten a little bit better now, but that was a disappointing argument. She should have never said that. I don't know why she said that, and I don't know what. I don't know why. Like, it is disappointing because especially as being a part of DSA, you would think that you would understand why that argument is stupid. But I think she, maybe she was hanging out with the corporate Dems too much. I don't know. But yeah.
Online constantly, on the floor, like acting like a weird bully. Like,
I'm not even talking about that. I'm actually, I want to stay on the, like, yes, I think she has every reason to personally be like, F this person. But if she meant what she was doing, if MTG's agenda, and look, I am happy to have her saying these things that I agree with, and I think they are marginally helpful.
Okay.
I'm not sure who her constituency is for this, but I do think they're marginally helpful in the same way that, like, the Washington Wizards are helpful to the Globetrotters. Like, it's good to have, our version of Alan, what was that guy's name on hand? Combs.
Just Combs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have apostates, right? Like, I'm happy that Bill Kristol is, is out there, and Jen Rubin,
Megan.
yeah, and all of the all of those never Trumpers. And she is basically a never Trumper, except for she could have stayed in Congress for another year and had a material impact on votes. And she decided not to do that. And my question is, like, how can you say that she sacrificed her political career to stand up against genocide, et cetera, when her career, I think in her mind, was over, at least that career play, stay in the House, do something, because I think she felt like she had to pivot. And the only way that she could do that, she could have done it in the House. She could have been voting with Massey. She could have been, co-sponsoring things with Ro Khanna. She could have been doing all of those things, but instead she just pulled a what's her face from Sarah Palin.
She should have stayed in the House, and she would have earned more credibility if she'd have done that. And I think she loses credibility by leaving the House. I think
she has no credibility. She has no credibility. What do you mean she loses credibility? What credibility? What credibility? You are giving her credibility that she doesn't deserve. What credibility, Ryan Grimm? What credibility? I want to know what one thing she has said that is credible. She has no credibility. She has no credibility. None. Okay? And again, like Sam said, she wanted to climb the ladder. That's what she wanted to do. And she thought that she could do it. And she thought that she could be and that's why, I think some of the women in my family who are conservative liked her at the beginning. Now, like I said, my whole family hates her now, most of them. And so this is not helping with other Republicans. I just got to tell you that, because they hate her. Okay. And, Anyway, they liked Marjorie Taylor Greene in the beginning because they were like, oh, she is willing to stand up to these men and she'll say it right back to them and blah, blah, blah. And it's really funny because it's like, okay, so you think women should be able to hold positions of power. You think women should have all of these rights, but everybody else that they deem as other should just F them, right? Just fuck them, right? But then but at a certain point you realize that you were never a part of that equation either, that you were also always the other, and they were never going to see you as an equal, ever. And she finally, I guess, woke up to that reality. And so this is what she's doing. And so, yeah, again, she didn't care about any of this because she's not doing anything with the bills. She's not helping Thomas Massey with the Epstein files. She's not doing shit. What is she doing? She left. She didn't sacrifice shit. She should not take the heat she sent relentlessly at others. I know she can't take the heat that she sent. She can't. And she's so busy bullying everyone else that when she gets bullied or when she gets outcasted, it's oh my gosh, I can't well, at first she didn't really blame Trump. She has now since been blaming Trump, but I think at first she tried not to name him as much, but then she started doing it. Yeah. What the fuck is right, man? What the fuck is right? Because Ryan Grimm is making me mad.
That's true. She could have and should have stayed there. There's no question about that. You and I basically agree that it's marginally good that she's saying the things that she's saying.
Yes.
And the thing that I was responding to was AOC saying that MTG didn't have credibility on this issue.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. I love how he's yeah, because she doesn't. Because she doesn't. Because she doesn't have credibility on this. And it's insane that everyone is trying to give her credibility on this. Have we, again, she might be saying the right things, but she was the reason that Rashida Tlaib got censured in the House when she said from the river to the sea. Marjorie Taylor Greene was a part of that. Marjorie Taylor Greene did that. Marjorie Taylor Greene does not give a shit. Does not give a shit, okay? God, she is racist, and she is just as Islamophobic as she is anti-Semitic. She is just doing this. Because, I don't know, I guess she wants to have a media career or some shit. I guess the money she made in Congress isn't enough for her. And she wants to keep being around, and we have to keep hearing from her.
She doesn't, but who cares? I mean,
she said it, so I responded to it. Like,
right.
You can not care. Apparently, a lot of people care. Days later, we're still talking about it.
Yes. But no, well, I care more about the idea that like she somehow sacrificed and that she like.
The other part that frustrated me in those comments was she said, when there are issues where there's bipartisan establishment support for something, then in those cases, and she said, like, for instance, banning stock trading. In those instances, I think it's appropriate to work with people we disagree with on other issues. So it's okay to do that for stock trading. What issue has stronger bipartisan establishment support than unapologetic support for Israel? So it's okay to do it for stock trading, but stopping a genocide?
Well,
you can't go there?
Well, wait a second. What is Marjorie Taylor what are they going to do together? Like, she's out of Congress.
This is the question I love that Sam asked. This is the question that I love that Sam asked, because this is a question I have been asking since Cenk had Marjorie Taylor Greene on his show for the first time, okay? I remember when everyone was giving him heat for having Marjorie Taylor Greene on, he's like, well, and I think it was during the interview too, he's like, well, we're going to stop a war. I'm like, are you? You're going to stop a war by yapping on YouTube. Listen, I do the same thing, and I'm a very small channel, but I am not so delusioned to think that that yapping on YouTube is going to stop a war. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think she was already like leaving Congress, or she had left Congress at that point. So again, what capacity was Marjorie Taylor Greene going to stop anything? At what power does she have to do anything? You know what I'm saying? And so I love this question, because that's been my question this whole entire time. The fuck is Marjorie Taylor Greene gonna do? What is she gonna do? What in the world? What in the world is she going to do to stop this? Excuse me. AOC could have voted the BB Bibble. You're right. No, you're right. No, she could have, and she should have. She should have. I think that was a bad. But I'm just saying, like, she's not in Congress anymore. So to keep giving her this praise, I think it's just weird. I don't know. I just don't get it. I think it's weird.
Left Congress. She might as well be. She's just some gadfly.
Yeah.
Like Alex Jones, I'm sure has agreed with something at one point. Should AOC like a congressperson join with Alex Jones?
That's a fair point too. She brought up MTG. Like, why? Like, what's the point of bringing her up to like sideline her? Like, if there's nothing to work with her on. I think
in that context, she should not be paying attention to a former congressperson. But I imagine that's probably driven by like her personal animosity.
Right. And, which again, I get. Like,
yeah, I agree. And I agree that like she could have just not said anything. But now that I've thought about it a little bit more, I think that she probably did it on purpose. So she either like really hates her and was really trying to be petty, which I don't, do you, I don't care. But or she was doing it on purpose to get like clicks and media and media hits and just trying to make some news. I don't know. That's maybe my interpretation of it all.
But I think the question was like, in what circumstances do you make a transpartisan thing? And I think like there is. I mean, let me put it this way: do you think, just broadening out from it, do you think there are circumstances where there are people that it does not make sense to do, like, you know, go with God, Tucker Carlson. I'm glad that you are, but I also know I also know there was back in the early days of MSNBC, way back, when Pat Buchanan would fill in for Tucker on his show. Pat Buchanan would have me on because he knew I was the only Jew he could get that would criticize Israel, and I felt dirty as shit.
I bet.
But it was not like I had an audience that I was delivering to Pat Buchanan. I mean, that's also the question. I mean, this is the same question that like when Sirota asked Plattner about going on Tucker Carlson's show, and his assessment I thought was pretty, or his assessment of the calculation is pretty important. Like, who's helping who in this situation?
Exactly.
Like, are we helping? Are we really expanding who is hearing an anti-genocide message when we welcome Marjorie Taylor Greene into our home to talk about it? Or are we basically whitewashing Marjorie Taylor Greene, who still has a bunch of other odious policy sets, and also someone who like she gave up her material power?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, 100%. 100%.
I think because of the way that different media environments are structured, that you're much more likely to persuade some people in her base of your position than you are going to accidentally get a bunch of Majority Report viewers to all of a sudden start hearing MTG's other ideas and be like, oh, well, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about the way weather can be controlled. Like, I don't think that. I think that they're mostly immune because it's a much.
But do you see how someone like that shouldn't have credibility really in anything? Like, do you see how when that is something that she has said and believes, that you now have to be like, okay, so she's saying some things that are good, I guess, but like, should we really be amplifying her voice? Still, should we really be doing that? Should we really be sitting here praising her, being like, oh my God, she sacrificed her career for what? For nothing? She didn't, for nothing. No. And also, again, like I said, there might be some people, probably like younger, more conservative people who might who might listen. Maybe you're right, but there are still a large part of the Republican or MAGA base who just don't like her now. You know what I'm saying? Because she went against Trump, and so they just don't like her now. So again, I really think that this media tour, this media tour that MTG continues to go on, is whitewashing her. And I do think that's why AOC shouldn't have even brought her up, because now we're talking about her again. And if she just wouldn't have been brought up, then people would hopefully start forgetting about her and not care about her anymore. Yeah. Holy shit, if Tucker and BBB are in the White House in 2028, who will invade? Wait. Who will invade? Oh, I will invade. F my life. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. I hope not. I am worried about Tucker Carlson, though. I am very worried about Tucker Carlson. And that's my problem with people sitting here and trying to praise people like Tucker Carlson, because I'm like, dude, you guys are gonna make these people more popular, okay? You're gonna make these people more popular. They're gonna have more power. And what is that going to do? Do you think they are then going to be your friend? Do you think they are then going to be like, you know what? they're going to do the same thing back to you and say, hey, we might agree on that 1% of something. So, hey, I'll bring you in. I'll be fine. You know, I'll treat you right. I'll make sure you have rights. No, they are not going to do that. No. Oh, I am scared about Tucker running for president. I'm not even lying. I'm very scared. I don't like it. I've been scared. Okay, anyway.
Much more kind of open and like, you know, they've gotten the vaccine, whereas like I think a lot of people in the right-wing media spaces are open to left-wing populist ideas, and if they start hearing them, can move over.
Let me give you a real-world example. MS Now, which made the pivot to having a lot of never Republicans on, never Trump on.
Right, but they're not serving anything up. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that. I mean, this is just an example, and it may not. When Trump in the first term bombed Syria, every single person on that network, and I know this because I was coincidentally supposed to be on to talk about something else, was advocating him bombing Syria and saying it shows that he's serious. And the reason is because they're all former Republicans or supposedly former Republicans. And, you know, anybody looking at Bill Kristol now, they don't remember, you know, or George W. Bush or whatnot. Like, there is something to be said about holding people's, you know, real record. The overwhelming part of her record was, incidentally, in support of Israel.
And I like that he's bringing this up. I also like that he mentioned George Bush, because I feel like that is another person that we have completely just like whitewashed. He is a war criminal. Oh, hi, honey. Hi. She wants attention. Well, and I got her this puzzle bowl so she doesn't eat so fast. Oh. Then she found a toy. Anyway, I got her this puzzle bowl so she doesn't eat so fast, because she was eating so fast and like throwing it up because she wasn't digesting it. And she hates it. She hates the puzzle bowl. She knocks it down. She does not like it. She does not like it. It's kind of funny, but I think she knocked it down again, and so that's why she's upset. She hates the puzzle bowl. She hates it. But it's to help her digest her food. It's okay. She's fine. Anyway, she was upset. Anyway, like I was saying, yes, I think someone we have completely whitewashed is, it comes with the job. Yes. But anyway, I think someone we have completely whitewashed is George Bush, because he... Sorry, she's like losing her mind. She's crazy. It's funny that they say she's like a senior cat, because she is running around my house all day long. Like, she is running everywhere. She has the zoomies. She's like losing her mind all the time. It's quite funny. And she's jumping on everything. She jumps on everything. And it's so funny. I think maybe she's like, I think she might be like on the younger side of it, like 6 or 7. And just have really bad genes, because she came from a hoarding situation, and like, hoarding situations, there's a lot of cats that can get like inbred. And so, yeah. Anyway, enough about my cat. I'm a little obsessed with her. I like to talk about her a lot. Anyway, but enough about that. George Bush, that I keep trying to finish this thought. George Bush, we have completely whitewashed him, and now it's like, oh, he's like a painter, and he's like this goofy old guy, and it's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Okay, he is a mass murderer, and he should be in jail for his crimes. But he's not, and now we look at him as not that bad because we have Trump, you know? And so, yeah, I think that was a great, whatever. Anyway, Nala is part orange cat. She is part orange cat, and you're right. That is probably why she's crazy. They are crazy. And when I adopted her, I thought, oh, well, she's not like a full orange cat, so like she won't be that crazy. Like she'll be chill, right? And when I met her, when I was adopting her, she was really chill, right? And now I think she's getting comfortable here finally, which I'm really happy about. But she's getting comfortable enough to like show me her personality, and she's so funny. She's just hilarious. She's a hoot. And it's so cute. But yeah, no, she's crazy. She is crazy. And so you're right. She's part orange cat, and so she lives up to the stories. And I had an orange cat when I was younger, and I have tons of stories about him. Actually, I have like so many insane stories about that cat. And so she does live up. She lives up to that. She really, really does. She really does. It's funny though. It keeps me entertained, honestly. All right, okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's. And yes, she did have a brief moment, at least in terms of her career as a congressperson, which she cut short, where she had a change of mind after every other avenue for her political ambition was shut down.
Exactly.
But if she comes back into politics, I don't know that it works the way that you're talking about. I don't know that people are traveling with her. Her audience is traveling to the Majority Report.
No.
When she's
they're
on the
not.
Majority Report, let's say.
No.
You nervous that she's going to snow your audience? I don't think so. I got more faith in your audience than you do.
No, I'm not saying that, but I also don't think that like what is she going to do for my audience? Like, is she going to provide them more nuance on the genocide?
But the idea would be that then you would get access to her audience.
How would I do
you're gonna
that?
Persuade them by, I don't know, that like there's podcasts in that network that you can go on. I'll hook you up with Tucker.
I'll go on to her podcast.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
but that's different.
But it's a two-way street in that sense. But in any event, I thought this was.
I love how Sam was like, he's like, okay, man, keep turn it into jank, bro. You're turning it into jank. I just don't get it. I don't get everyone's obsession with wanting to just like forget Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene's record. It's infuriating. It's so infuriating. Everyone is like, let's just forget. Let's forget how insane they still are. Right? Let's forget how insane they still are. Because all these other ideas that they have, all these other policies that they want have not just like gone away. They like, ugh. Okay, YTY did so much segment on Tucker, really? Oh my gosh. That's what's going to be. There's going to be a video on Wednesday. Sorry there wasn't one last week. It was just very overwhelming. Last week was a very emotional and overwhelming week. But all good now, all good. Anyway, not the point. There will be a video this Wednesday, and I'm going to do it on Anna Kasparian and Francesca and Emma, I guess, talking about her. And then also John Idarola and Jared Jackson, I guess, called out, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch it, have called out like Jank and the network and stuff. And so very excited. Gonna talk about that on Wednesday. Very excited for that. So yes, we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. I'll have to look up the segment you're talking about, not by name. See, I love them, but I wish that they would be, I don't know. I mean, it's their jobs. They have kids. I get it. But also, bro, come on. Like, I don't know. I feel like they both would do better outside of TYT at this point, but I don't know, man. It's hard. YouTube's hard. It's not easy. It is not an easy thing. It was obvious. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I'll watch it. I have to watch it, and then that's what the video will be on Wednesday. And I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm excited. I feel better this week. I feel much more like, okay, like I'm finally getting back to my normal routine, and she's getting comfortable, and I'm like, oh, good. Okay. Yay. You know, I don't know. It's like, whew. Oh my gosh. JR was on fire. I'm so excited. I love JR. He is my favorite. Also he's from St. Louis, so that, you know, I'm a little biased, but but yeah, I am so excited to watch it. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great. I'm so excited for that video to make it. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. All right. Yeah, this is over, so we're done with this. Anyway, so that was their debate. That was that was Sam Cedar and Ryan Grimm debating about MTG, who, you know what, you're right, we should stop talking about, and I'm sure we won't, and I'm sure I'll talk about her again. But if I didn't have to talk about, like, if I could just forget she existed, that would be my ideal world. And it's funny because that has been my ideal world for such a long time now. And now we can finally do it, right? And yet we have so many people who just want to keep talking about her, which, I mean, I'm included because I'm talking about her right now. But I just mean, like, collab with her or think or give her praise or some shit, you know? And it's like, can we just... She's gone. She's not in Congress anymore. Can we just be happy about that? Can we just be happy and you know, maybe let her live with her millions? And can she just get out of the media? Like, please? Please. That would be my ideal world. But we do not live. We do not live in an ideal world. Anyway, so that was that. Next, we're going to watch Emma talking to Mallory McMorrow. So if you were watching the Majority Report, I believe it was on Friday, and Sam Cedar was like, Emma's not here today because she is on a special assignment. And I was like, what is this special assignment? Well, I think it was this. So she was on a Bit Fruity podcast with Mallory McMorrow. And it got a little spicy, and I'm here for it. And Emma is a queen, and I love her very much, and she is awesome. And so very excited to watch this. I've watched some of it already, and you could tell Mallory McMorrow was not super happy that Emma was there. And it's really funny because in the beginning of the podcast, Mallory McMorrow tells Matt, she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy, like, to be here. Like, I've been wanting to come on for a really long time, or like, I'm a fan of your podcast. And it's so funny that she says all that. And then it's like it felt like she almost like felt it was like unexpected that she was going to get any pushback, or like unexpected that people were going to try to like question her. And I'm like, if you watch his podcast, you know how he like he is very open and honest about how he feels about Palestine, and he is like very I don't know, I think he's one of the better people who like talks about it online. And so I'm like, why would you go on his podcast? If you were a fan of his podcast and you've been wanting to go on his podcast, why did you think you weren't going to get pushback? Like, I'm not understanding. A lot of these Dems who are just so like these corporate milquetoast Dems, they just don't expect any pushback. And she tries to come off as like the progressive one. Of course she's not. But it's just so interesting that it's just like she almost was like annoyed that she was getting any pushback from Emma. So anyway, let's watch that. So let's see, let's get rid of that. So there's two different sections. This first section, okay, so I think this is the one. No, that's not it. This is the one where they talk about Israel Palestine, and at one point you could tell that Mallory gets a little like upset at Emma because she's like, well, Matt, how do you feel about this? Because Emma's question are you mad? Like, are you upset that you're getting pushed back? Like I said, did you not think? You said you were a fan of this podcast. Did you not? Why would you think you wouldn't get pushed back? I'm very confused. But anyway, here we go.
Mallory, an issue that's extremely close to my heart as a Jewish person, as a tax-paying American, as a human being, is that of Palestine. I was actually just the other night at a UN commemoration of the anniversary of the Nakba in 1948, when Israel displaced more than 750,000 Palestinians who still don't have the right to return home. So when considering people who are running for federal office, people who could determine the future of the U.S. relationship to Israel and the effect that that will have on Palestinians, now the Lebanese people and Iranians, I know this issue is one people who listen to the show, for one, care a lot about. And of course,
I'm glad he put that in there because, again, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, she made it a point to tell him that, like, she's a fan and she was so excited. And I just want to keep reiterating that before she starts talking, because I don't know what I just, like, because she's like, oh, I wanted like a 2-state solution, and it's like, how did you not think you were gonna get pushback on this podcast? I'm not understanding. Anyway,
you are also running in Michigan, which has a large Arab population, which, that was very consequential in the 2024 election when many of them withheld their votes from Kamala Harris and as part of the uncommitted movement. So I want to make sure people have a really clear understanding of your position. Also, for context, your opponent on one side, Abdul El Sayed, he opposes all funding to Israel, and your opponent on the other side, Haley Stevens, is endorsed by AIPAC. Enough said there. So I wanted to highlight your approach and ask you about it. On your website, you write, quote, "The path to lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians lies in a 2-state solution, with a democratic Jewish state of Israel existing safely along a democratic Palestinian state."
And the Palestinians cannot have a democratic state if they are being occupied. If they are being occupied, that is not possible. And so right now, this was the 2-state solution, right? But Palestine cannot be its own state when Israel is occupying them and dictating what can come in and what can come out and what help they can get and what resources they can get. And when they are continuously bombing them and murdering them. And so the 2-state solution is bullshit, and that's why one democratic state is the solution. That is the solution. That is the only solution, because right now it's an apartheid state, and there is one group of people, there is one citizenship that is above the other, and one group of citizens are treated like humans and the other are treated like subhumans. And so having a 2-state solution that's not even real, that doesn't that's not how this is going to work. Like, that's already what this is. And so it needs to be a 1-state solution. So again, like, I feel like she should have known she was going to get, and she probably did know she was going to get asked about this. But I don't know if she knew Emma was going to be there. I don't know. But, yeah. And split in 2. Yeah. Yes. Okay. What'd you say? It's already 3 states. Oh. 3 states. I'm confused by the 3 states. Anyway, let's keep going.
Right, that the flow of aid to Gaza, quote, needs to be restored, that Israel's expansion into the West Bank, quote, must stop, and that Hamas must, quote, disarm and demonstrate a commitment to a peaceful and democratic Palestinian state. You also support funding for Israel's defensive
wait, I know what you're saying. The West Bank, and never mind. Like I said, sometimes it takes me a second. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Things like the Iron Dome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, see, it took me a second. Like I said, it takes me a second sometimes. Gaza and West Bank are not linked and do not have the same government. Thank you. I know. Oh my God. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes how long it takes me to like register things. And I'm like, oh, yes. No, exactly. No, you're right. Thank you. Yes. Well, yeah, and exactly. So it's like, and they've already deemed that like the West Bank was supposed to be the red line, and that was supposed to be Israel was not supposed to go over there, but they have. And so Israel, and that's why this two-state solution and all this like middle of the world bullshit doesn't work, because it doesn't work because Israel is not out to have a democratic society, right? Because they're not out to actually have a society where everyone has equal rights. It's not what they want. That is not what Israel is doing, right? Israel is purposely going and displacing people in Palestine and Lebanon, and they're doing it on purpose. And this is their purpose, is for greater Israel. That this is a genocidal project. This is what Benjamin Netanyahu, this is what Israel wants. And so that's why it's so stupid when you try to sit here and you try to do this middle of the road bullshit. Like, well, they need to, put down their arms, and then they need to do this. And then, we just need to have peace and come together. And it's like, that's not how this is going to work. Okay. When there's a genocidal nation that is like murdering and that is murdering and just bombarding every country around them, I think at some point it's like, yeah, we know who the aggressor is. We know what the problem is, and it needs to be addressed. We can't just keep sitting here and pretending like, oh, we don't know who the aggressors are. Everyone needs to just calm down and we need to have peace. That's not a real solution. Like, that's not a real solution. It's not a realistic solution at all, because again, we know who the aggressor is here. And until people like Benjamin Netanyahu, and honestly people in the Biden administration, and the Trump administration, who have helped and aided and abetted these war crimes, they all need to go to jail. They all need to be held accountable for this to end, for the Palestinians to have justice. And that's why this bullshit of like the middle of the road, both sides, is not a realistic solution, and is not going to stop anything. Yeah. LOL, I'm a slow typer. You're fine. No, you're fine. It's me. No, it's totally me. This happens to me all the time. My friends will say a joke, and then like 5 minutes later, I'll be like, oh my God. And they'll just look at me, and I'm like, I know, man. I know. I have my moments. Anyway, so yes, Yasser tried peace. No, exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. And that's why people like Mallory McMorrow need to be pushed back on stuff like this. And I'm glad Emma was there, and I'm glad Matt and her pushed back on Mallory, because this is not a realistic solution. This is not a policy statement. This is nothing. It's basically just fluff. It's just word vomit, and it means nothing. And she is sitting here acting like it's like some noble opinion. And it's not going to stop the genocide. It's not going to stop the war that Trump and Israel have started in the Middle East. Like, it's not going to stop that, because there are two aggressors here. It's America and it's Israel. And until we recognize that, until we hold those people accountable, this is never going to stop, and it's going to keep going. And so when she says bullshit stuff like that, it does need to be called out, and it does need to be pushed back on, because it's not a sincere thing. Like, it's not a sincere held position, and it's not something that's going to work. It's not a real solution. It's nothing. Hassan was brought up when Pac-Man interviewed Cory Booker. Oh my God, I saw that. I know I need to talk about that too. I haven't seen this interview yet. Does McMorrow crash and burn? So at some point, she kind of does, and it's really, really funny. They can't get over Piker. At least he's hit on another leftist. I know. I think they're starting to go after other leftists because it's just not working for Hassan, but I don't think it's really working for anyone else either. Yeah, no, let's keep watching this Mallory McMorrow thing. It is funny. She doesn't like crash out, but she does get a little petty with Emma, which is really funny to me. Because I don't think she expected Emma to like really sincerely push back on her. Because again, I think she thinks that this is a perfectly fine answer, you know? And she's probably like, oh, these leftists, you guys just aren't fine with anything, you know? You just want a purity test. But no, this is slop. Like, this is a slop ass answer. That's what it is. And you need stand your ground, man. Stand your ground. At least the two people on the other side of you have opinions. What is yours? Nothing. Nothing. It's just some corporate speak bullshit. That's all it is. It's not actually going to help anyone. Okay, anyway.
Is that all correct?
Increasingly, that's changed.
Okay.
And you even see Netanyahu now vocally saying that he himself wants to cut off relying on aid from other countries. So I would support Israel continuing to be able to purchase systems like the Iron Dome defensive systems. But I think it's in the best interest of the United States.
Well, see, and that's a defensive shit again that we were talking about earlier when AOC see now she's doing it too, where it's like, oh well, they should still be able to have their defensive systems. Again, who is the aggressor in this situation? Right? Who is the aggressor in this situation? Giving enabling them to keep being the aggressor is not defensive. They're not defensive weapons. Was she expecting Emma to be there? Was this an Ethan Klein, Steven Crowder, Sam Cedar situation? I don't know. I actually wonder that. I'm not sure. I wonder that. I'm not sure, but I hope. I kind of think it would be funny if it was just like Emma was just there, and she seems kind of annoyed with Emma at a certain point, because you can tell she's like, okay. She's like, okay, like she's just gonna come in here and say it. But yeah, send them the police shields. Oh my god.
Reducing that aid and allowing Israel to do that on
So
their
not
own.
even stop giving the aid, just reducing the aid. Not even stop giving the aid, just reducing the aid. Okay.
But I mean, as of now, though, your policy that you're running on, just so voters are like clear, is
Because it's not a clear statement.
that you support sort of the defensive infrastructure. So we wanted to ask you a couple questions about your stance here. First, regarding what a two-state solution means to you and how that could affect your policymaking.
The two-state solution debate is something where I really do think that a lot of Democrats are kind of behind the reality on this issue. So I just want to talk in terms of practicalities. Where would you, in terms of like your ideal two-state solution, draw the borders? Because as you know, Israel's been illegally...
I feel like if you look at her eyes, there's like a little bit of panic in her eyes. And again, I think it's because she is not expecting... I think she thinks that her answer is like sufficient, you know? Like it's a sufficient answer to get people to shut up, right, about her stance. And I think that's what she was going for. Because I think that's what a lot of these Democrats are doing right now. They're just going to say, well, both sides, blah, 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 you know, and two-state solution, blah, blah, blah. And then they hope you'll shut up about it, right? And you'll stop asking them about it. And I think that's what she's doing here. And she really thought that she was going to get away. She was going to get away with this. She really thought she was going to get away with that answer. And that's again, that's why it's so surprising to me that in the beginning of this show, she was like, oh my God, I love your podcast. I'm so happy to be on here. I'm a fan, da 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 da. And then it's like, and you didn't expect for them to be like, yeah, this two-state solution thing is bullshit. How did you not expect that from this podcast? It's very strange to me. I obviously think she was probably lying, because she really, like, I feel like she looks like a deer in the headlights right now, or like scared, or just like, oh, why are you bringing this up? Why are you bringing this up? because I don't think that she thought she was going to be nailed to this position, you know, and have to explain this position because it's a bullshit position.
Occupying East Jerusalem and the West Bank since 1967 in violation of UN law. And since then, 700,000 Israeli settlers have moved into the Palestinian territories in East Jerusalem and the West Bank and have stolen Palestinian land. So my question about the practicality of a two-state solution is, how would that happen? Would your scenario require removing the 700,000 illegal settlers living on Palestinian land?
So, Emma, what you're asking is, I don't believe the role of a U.S. senator. I believe that a senator...
That's what I'm saying. I think she gets like annoyed with Emma. She's like, well, Emma. well, Emma. well, Emma. No, and like, I think it's so funny. She's like, I don't think that is the job of a U.S. senator. No, they're asking you about your position. You put this position on your website again to get people to shut up and stop asking you about it, because obviously you either don't have an opinion or you don't want to share your opinion because you know it's not going to be popular, or you want to somehow get some kind of money from AIPAC or these other groups. You want to get money from them, so you don't want to have a solid enough opinion that either side can start coming at you, right? And so that's what she's doing. That is what she's doing. And now she's like, I just don't think it's my job as a U.S. senator. It's not your job? What do you mean it's not? What do you mean it's not your job? Will you not have to vote on bills that are funding this genocide? Is that not your job? Like, what are you talking about right now? I really don't think she thought that she was going to get pressed on this.
Should have a role in allowing the United States to facilitate the negotiation between the Palestinians and the Israelis that gets to a place where there's long-term peace, security, and self-determination for Palestinians and long-term peace and security and self-determination for Israelis, who all live in the region and have to figure out a way to coexist where they're not killing each other. I don't believe that it's the role of a legislator to determine where those borders are or how it coexists, but it should be our role to de-escalate the conflict. I do not support the Netanyahu government. I think that they have...
That's the other thing that Democrats are doing now. They're just saying the Netanyahu government. And it's like the same thing they do with Trump. Oh, the Trump Republicans or the MAGA Republicans, right? And it's annoying. It's annoying as hell because it's not just Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? I think it's actually most of the government. I think there's like maybe one or two people in their government that have been standing against this. The reason that there's not many people is because, of course, they get punished if they go against them. So again, being like, oh, Netanyahu's government. No, stop it. That is bullshit. And that is just another weaselly way to get out of having an actual stance on this, to get out of actually doing anything about this. And it's just a mealy-mouthed way to stop talking about this and to get people to stop questioning them about this. The Democrats are still doing this. Like, it's insane that they're still doing this. They are still doing this after we lost the presidential election, and it was because of this, and it was because of this, and that's why they're not letting out the results. They're not letting that out. The Democratic Party is not letting that out because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. They don't want to admit that they were wrong, and they don't want to change their stance. They don't want to change anything about what they're doing, and so they're just gonna keep going on and chugging along, and hopefully people like her will lose. Hopefully she will lose. I hope she loses, because she doesn't have an answer for any of this, right? Instead of having an answer, she says, I don't think that's my job. I don't think that's my job. Okay. You want to be senator, but you don't think that's your job. All right. He was in power for decades. Yeah, exactly. It's a cop-out. It's a cop-out. They're all doing it now, and it's a cop-out. It's such a cop-out.
have continued to push well beyond what is proportionate, what is rational in response to the October 7th attacks, in a way that...
And I think it's funny that she brought that up. Not funny, but it's like she brought that up as Matt like opened this segment talking about the Nakba, right? So he opened this segment talking about the Nakba and talking about like the history of like the history that has turned into this genocide, right? Because this didn't happen overnight. And then she brings it back to that. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's just like a cop out. It's like a crutch. So they don't have to have, they don't have to do anything about it, right? They can just say these little coexist lines and suddenly, oh, that's enough. That's okay. That should be enough. You should be happy with that.
Is horrifying to watch. I mean, bombing Gaza to be completely uninhabitable, the settler violence that you see, that while it is technically illegal, they are certainly doing nothing to stop it and continue to encourage it. And Matt, you brought this up particularly related to our state. We have a very large Lebanese population. 1 million people in Lebanon have been displaced. And I know a friend of mine who's running for state senate mentioned to me that his grandmother's home in Lebanon has been bombed 3 times. And that somehow she's still in good spirits about the fact that she is alive when many of her neighbors are not. So for me, I'm somebody, you know, I bring a background in industrial design into how I pursue policy, which is starting with the outcome and then backing into how do you help facilitate making that happen. What I believe is that there is
then that doesn't make any sense, because that's like exactly what Emma was trying to tell you, is that a 2-state solution is the outcome we have right now. Like that is what's happening right now, right? And so that is what they're trying to get you to understand. And now, like, she just frustrates me. She frustrates me because she's trying so hard to be progressive, but she's not actually saying anything. She doesn't make any sense a lot in this interview. She really doesn't. Like, she makes 0 sense. She makes 0 sense at all. And it's like, yeah, she's not saying anything. Like, you're not answering the question. You're not saying anything. You're not taking any stances. It's just word vomit. That's it.
Shared beliefs across our constituents, in both the Jewish community, the Arab community, and frankly, for people who are not directly impacted by this, who are horrified beyond belief at the ongoing violence, suffering, chaos, who simply want the violence to stop and see the United States has played a role in continuing the violence when we need to play a role in ending it.
And I hear what you're saying about you don't want to draw specific boundaries. I understand that. But I think it's important to dissect what a 2-state solution would actually entail.
Yes.
Do you believe that should involve some sort of reparations for Palestinian land that has been stolen? Because increasingly, if you look at the map of the West Bank, it's being
I don't think she wants to answer any of these questions. I think Mallory McMorrow is like hating her life right now. The way she keeps like looking over, like, why is Emma still why is Emma still talking to me? I feel like that's what her face looks like.
taken over by Israel. So there would have to be either a forcible removal, or Palestinians would have to be crammed into even smaller and smaller territory.
Yeah, and again, I go back to the United States role, a legislator's role, should be in helping to facilitate between the negotiators and something that allows for that peace and security for Palestinians alongside Israelis. I don't believe that is my role to dictate.
But you're the one who said you believe in a 2-state solution. But like, you're the one, it's on your website. Like, you have it on your website that you believe in a 2-state solution. And so like, how do you not, so why do you have that on your website if you don't know what that looks like? Why do you have it on your website that that's what you believe if you don't know what that's going to mean, right? If you don't know what outcome is going to come of that, you're just saying shit at this point. That's all you're doing.
dictate, to put on to the people who do live there what they should be fighting for their own lives.
I want to push back, though, a little bit on, your role as a senator. Sort of, you're presenting it as like a little bit detached from the peace process there. Whereas, like, we know that
there are multiple times where you can just see her eyes, and she just looks so like. She just looks like a mix of like annoyed and just like, are we done yet? Like, why are you pushing that? Like, couldn't you just let that be enough? Couldn't you just let my two-state solution bullshit answer be enough? Like she's just like, oh my God. She looks annoyed. And yeah, it's kind of funny.
Israel's sort of violent and ongoing expansion now into Lebanon, as you mentioned, it's only possible because of ongoing bipartisan U.S. support.
Yep.
And so I wonder if you continue to support defensive weapons infrastructure to Israel, how you see yourself as utilizing any of the leverage you could have as a U.S. senator in this situation. And I guess how you think, because like this two-state solution line, right? It's the party line for a long.
I think she's trying so hard to face like somewhat of a smile.
long time.
Since the 90s.
And it just hasn't borne out. I think probably everyone on all sides of this issue could agree with that. And so I wonder how you are breaking from the establishment in a way that would materially benefit the people who, frankly, like my tax dollars are killing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you framed it that way, because I think there's a difference, Matt, in how you asked your question versus Emma. One is the...
You see how Emma smiled? See, that's where she got a little petty when she was like, I'm glad you asked it that way, Matt. And, because that's not how Emma asked. Emma asked it in a way that hurt my feelings, but like, thank you, Matt, for saying it in such a nice way. That's the part where she got a little petty, and I think it's really funny. She's like, because Emma's over here. I did see them go over it a little bit today. Yes, I did. And she was like, yeah, I think she got a little upset with me at that point. And I think it's so funny because you can tell that Mallory McMorrow is like trying to keep her cool throughout all of this, right? She's like trying to keep a straight face. She's trying not to like look upset or mad, but like you can just tell that she's like frustrated and kind of pissed off that they keep pushing back on her. But yet again, I come to her saying that she was a fan of this podcast and that she really wanted to be on this podcast. And so I don't understand how she didn't, if she was a fan, if she liked this podcast, I don't know why she thought these bullshit answers were gonna suffice. But I don't know. Yeah, no, that's hilarious. She did. Yeah, I did see the part where Emma mentioned it, and she was like, Emma. Not like how Emma asked me. Like, I do not think she likes Emma because Emma is just like pulling, like she is not sugarcoating anything. And I love that. And I think that that's how people like Mallory McMorrow need to be dealt with when they are interviewed. That's how I think all politicians, like just across the board, should be dealt with. When they're in these interviews, like if they give you some like answer that doesn't make any sense or just like word vomit, you need to be like, okay, so what does that mean? What does that look like? How are you going to tangibly achieve this? They did it to Zoran, and look at him now, right? But it never happens to people like her, and so I love it. I think it's great. It's BS. They always say they are fans. LOL. Oh, yeah. No, I know she was lying. I just thought it was so funny that she said that. And then later in the video, they're like grilling her and she seems so surprised. Yeah, I don't think Mallory has watched much, if any, of Matt or Emma. Exactly. I don't think so either. Of course she was lying. But I just thought it was so funny. It's just a funny juxtaposition, you know? Okay. Sorry. My bad.
Specific framework of the borders of the nations. The other is, what leverage does the Congress have to help facilitate this negotiation? I would have voted alongside the 40 out of 47 senators who voted in the past.
My cat has the zoomies again. She's just running around. Hi, I'm talking about you. She's so funny.
Sanders resolution blocking arms
is an
sales.
orange cat,
And let's
man.
acknowledge
She
how
is at
stunning
heart.
it
She
is
is.
that
She
a
really
year
is.
ago, that number was significantly smaller than it is today. My views on this have evolved because the reality on the ground has evolved. It has been horrifying to watch how Benjamin Netanyahu and the far-right government have...
Sorry, I'm not laughing at this. This is such a bad time to be smiling and laughing. I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing at what she's saying. I'm laughing at my cat. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm like, I hear her talking about like Benjamin Netanyahu and like horrifying and da-da-da, and I'm over here like with a big smile on my face. I'm like, I'm not laughing at it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Prosecuted this ongoing war against Palestinians, against Lebanese, against Yemenis, in a way that the United States...
I'm sorry. Oh my god. How is Nala doing? Is that how you spell her name? Yes, Nala. Like Lion King. Like the Lion King. She's doing good. She's doing really good. She's actually a senior cat. So I thought she was 1, but she's not. She's either 6 to 9. Not really sure. Who knows? But that's okay. I love her very much, and she's hilarious, and she's had the zoomies multiple times today and tonight. She's like losing her mind, running around everywhere. It's super funny. It's actually hilarious. It's so funny to me. Yeah, she's doing good though. She had to get on antibiotics because she has feline herpes, which I did not know was a thing, but apparently it's like, they just get like colds, and apparently it's like very common for cats to have. And for her, she just gets it like when she's stressed out. So it was just flaring up because she was in a new environment and stuff like that. So they gave me antibiotics. And so she's fine now. I do need to get her teeth done because she is older. And because she came from like a hoarding situation, I don't think she was ever like properly taken care of. And so she never, like, her teeth are just, like, I think she's going to have to get most of them pulled. And that's going to cost a pretty penny. So that's why I was kind of, like, stressed out last week and just, like, overwhelmed. But I talked to the Humane Society, and I think they're going to help me out because that's where I adopted her from. And when I told them the situation, they were like, oh, my God, like, sorry, that's a pretty big discrepancy. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, I love her, and I want to give her the love she deserves and obviously, like, hasn't had in her life. But... $2,000 to like get her teeth pulled out. Like I got referred to this like specialist, and they're like, yeah, it's probably gonna be like $2,000, and it's $175 for just the consultation. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so I was talking to them, and they're like, well, we'll do a consultation for free, and you know, we'll work something out. And I was like, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Luckily, she's still eating and everything, so like it's not. She eats a lot actually, so it's not affecting. It's not affecting her that way. So like she's fine for now, but I will have to do it eventually because she just never got properly taken care of. But yeah, all's good. So yeah, thank you for asking. She's doing good. She's running around. I think she's happy to have a home and feel safe. So yeah. Anyway, she's playing with a bird toy right now. So if you hear like bird noises in the background, I got it for her after we went to the vet because I felt bad. So I was like, let's get you a new toy. Anyway,
let's get back to this, I guess. All right, no longer laughing at my cat during a very serious conversation. Okay.
It's cannot support. Simply put, the Congress holds the power of the purse, holds the power of funding and resolutions, and that is where I would view my role in coming in is keeping an open door to everybody within our community. Michigan is a very diverse state where we have the largest Arab American population living side by side with a very significant Jewish population. And Matt, your question is the universal truth. I was in an Uber a couple of weeks ago, and the driver said almost exactly what you said, which is how can our country afford to continue bombing other countries when we can't pay for our own kids? That is where we need to step in and say enough is enough, and we need to bring this to an end.
Yeah, but if you're saying that defensive weapons are okay, then you don't believe what you just said. Then like you're specifically contradicting what you just said because you're like, well, we can give them defensive weapons, but all the other weapons, I guess we can't afford to give them. No, we shouldn't give them any weapons. None. Absolutely none. Why are we enabling them to cause havoc? Why are we enabling their genocide? Why? Why are we enabling Israel's genocide? Why? And you saying, oh, well, defensive weapons are okay is silly because what do you mean? Okay, if you're saying that we don't have enough money to sit here and bomb other countries and give money to other countries to bomb other countries, then you shouldn't be like, oh, but defensive weapons are okay. But they can have defensive weapons, but everything else. No, you need to stand, you need to stand on that. You do, and you're not. You're contradicting yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, you mentioned that how in Michigan you have people of different faiths, Muslim, Jewish people, Arab people living side by side.
She really hates Emma. You can just tell it. You can just tell she really hates when Emma starts talking. She's so warm and yeah, thank you for that question, Matt. And then Emma starts talking and she's like, It's so funny. Oh, I think this is close to the part where Mallory asked Matt about how his Jewish family feels about this. Oh my God. Okay, see, I didn't see that part. I did hear Emma say that there was a part like that. And that's what I'm saying, what are you doing? That is a weird ass thing for you to say, man. You're the one being anti-Semitic in this situation because you are conflating Israel's genocide with being Jewish. That is what you are doing. You are conflating Israel being able to buy weapons from us, and being against that as well. Does your family how does your family feel? What? That's such a weird fucking question. Okay, anyway.
I think it's very American to believe in multiculturalism as an ethic, in that it engenders understanding, and when you can live alongside people who maybe have different views than you, it reduces the capacity for hatred. It's why we don't believe in things like segregation and apartheid, but Israel is an apartheid state. And, when we're talking about who has the right to have land and to live in peace, I mean, we're recording this right now on the anniversary of the Nakba, and the Palestinians have been ethnically cleansed since, you could say 1948, but prior to that, from the land that is now Israel. Do you not believe in multiculturalism as an ethic for Israel and Palestine? Because a shared land would be, in my view, American, and also the solution that we saw in South Africa that could provide fairness for everybody involved.
Yeah, and it may very well be. There are people who have worked on this issue for far longer than I have. And I always try to check my own bias at the door. I can't possibly understand what it is like to live in the middle of the Middle East. I can't imagine what it is like to have my home stolen from me, to have my family killed. And I want to leave the door open. I think it's important for anybody who holds the role of a senator as a legislator to check their own bias at the door, be open and objective.
And I think I think what she's trying to do is like kind of say this to Emma as like, well, Emma, you have a bias and maybe you need to check your bias and like open other people in. And that's why she's like about to ask Matt this question, which again, I think is a cop out because you're saying, okay, well, I'm just like open to everyone and everything. Okay, so then like, but what do you believe? Like, what is your opinion? What do you believe? And you don't have an answer for that. You don't have an answer for that. So far, your answer has been A, that's not my job, or B, I'm just going to leave the door open and, people, who knows what I'll think, who knows how I'll vote. I don't it's just a cop out, and it's because she doesn't think that she needs to think through this. She thinks that she doesn't need to have an actual thought out solution to some of these problems. And it is her job as a senator. It is her job because yes, she's right. They hold the power of the purse. And so you know what? Well, Congress does. So you know what? Then yeah, maybe you should have an idea of how our money and our dollars are affecting us and are affecting the rest of the world. Then yeah, maybe you should have solutions for things. Maybe you should think this through because it is the job. If this is the job you want, yes, it is. And she keeps just trying to pawn it off and being like, it's not my job. I listen to everyone. That's not an answer.
And if there is, and I've heard from both the Jewish community and the Arab community that you're right, Emma, a two-state solution has been something that has been attempted for a very long time. We have failed to accomplish that so far. Perhaps a multicultural solution where people are living side by side is a better solution, but I want that to come from the people who live there. It shouldn't be the role of me to assert my views on residents of another country.
Yeah, I'll move on a little bit, but I think it's just, to me, it's like Israel, who is the occupying power in this dynamic, I mean, as recognized by international law, does not want a multicultural state. Obviously, that is, when they say like, oh, you guys want to destroy Israel, what they're talking about is a destruction of the apartheid system. What they're talking about is
and it's like here when all the white men are like, oh, they're trying to oppress the white man. They're telling white men they can't be men and whatever the fuck, blah, blah, blah. Like that is the same thing. It is upholding a type of apartheid. It is upholding the white race, or you know what I'm saying? Like this superior race that they think that is better, and Palestinians are just like subhuman. And that's what this kind of mentality is. It's nationalism and it's fascism, and yeah, like it's in Israel it's an apartheid. And so that's what this is. If you were to if like when we hear people like when we hear people like Pete Hegseth say these Christian nationalist things, we look at that and we can call it what it is. We can say, oh, that is Christian nationalism, that is fascism, like that is white nationalism, like we can see it for what it is. But when it comes to Israel, I feel like they say the same things. They are saying the same things. They actually, the government of Israel says it outright, blatantly, most of the time. And yet it's like this disconnect. That like, no, like surely, surely we can figure out this two-state solution, and surely like they still need their defensive weapons, but like if everyone could just have peace. And it's like this, that is not how this is. Like that you have to understand what is happening. Like you have to understand that they're the aggressors, that they're the ones occupying Palestine, and not realizing that their genocidal remarks are genocidal, and not realizing that if a white nationalist or a Nazi said it yesterday, and you would be upset about it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like and so she would be upset about it. And so I don't know, sorry, that was a little bit of a rant.
Bringing in equality, and so I guess I want to stay on for a second, like how you could use your leverage as a U.S. senator to stop this violence, which we all agree has to stop.
Right.
Like we mentioned, you draw a distinction between Israel's defensive and offensive.
And that was the biggest, and that's what he asked about initially, and I don't think she ever answered. Like that was the initial question. I don't think she ever answered. And then she went into the story about, oh, this other guy the other day was telling me, how do we have money to bomb all these other countries but not money for here? And she's like, yeah, he's right. But okay, so then what is your answer? Like then she didn't have an answer. She didn't answer the question.
Weapons infrastructure and currently support funding for the defensive part of that, like the Iron Dome. I think a lot of people, though, might disagree with that distinction and say that Israel's defensive capabilities enable their offensive capabilities. Like,
Yes.
The Iron Dome allows Israel, one might say, to operate with impunity because they don't face the same threat of retaliation. So what would you say to that?
I hear you. As you can imagine, this is a conversation we have every single day in a state like ours, where we have vastly different viewpoints on the right course of action in the Middle East. And it is the job to go in with an open mind and to listen and to make the right most
That's
objective.
what I'm saying. She still doesn't this is not an answer. 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 You're just saying, I hear you. And you're saying, I hear you. And then you're saying, I'm just going to listen to everyone. Again, that's a cop-out. That's not an answer. And it's funny that she's using I hear you because that's kind of like therapist speak. I've been like obsessed with watching Hoarders. I think I mentioned this last week. I've actually thought about it. I'm like, maybe we could do, I don't know. I have to test it and see if, because there are like Hoarders episodes on YouTube. And I was like, oh, maybe we could do that. Like have like a fun night and do that one day and watch it. But I don't know if it'll like copyright strike me, but I might try because I'm like obsessed with Hoarders right now. And it wasn't something I was expecting, but I am. But anyway, get back on track. The therapist that comes and like helps in the hoarding show with like the hoarders, anytime they're like trying to talk to them about whether they should keep something or let it go or whatever, they're always like, I hear you, but blah blah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I feel like that's what she's doing. She's like, I hear you, but I just gotta listen to everyone. It's like a placating thing. Like it's, I don't know. It's just, that's some BS politician speak for I hear you. I can't stand politicians. I know. And again, like I said, I think every politician should be grilled like this. I think if they're going to put a stance on their website, or if they're going to have a stance, then yeah, we need to poke holes in it. We need to be like, yeah, so when you said this, what is the outcome? What it look like? And we need to actually investigate it because so often they just say shit and then they're never held accountable and then no one pokes holes in their obviously flimsy positions that aren't aimed to achieve or help anything. It's just there to placate everyone and to act like they're saying something when they're not. And so I'm so glad that Emma and Matt put her feet to the fire and we're like, okay, so what do you mean by a two-state? What does that mean to you? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? And she couldn't answer it. She can't answer it because she doesn't know. She just has it on her website to shut people up. That's it. So people don't ask her these kinds of questions. So I'm glad that they did. Okay. Yeah, I guess I was trying to get to the part where she asks him that question. I think we're almost there.
Effective decision that I possibly can. And as I said at the outset, it is increasingly the view of even Netanyahu himself that he wants to be able to do it on his own and doesn't want to rely on foreign aid. There seems to be a recognition that they are going at everything they possibly can and are losing the support of the world. They're losing the support of Americans. And I will always, my pledge is to always be objective. I am not so tied to an individual viewpoint that I'm not willing to change my mind when the fact.
See, and I hate this, and it's just so stupid. This just bothers me so much. Like, do you think this is popular with people? Like, do you think this is a popular thing? I don't have any positions. I don't know what my positions are, actually. I have such an open mind that I just can't even answer an effing question. Like, I can't answer a question, and, you know, all viewpoints matter. Everything matters. Who cares? Like, what are you saying? What do you mean? Like, this is so stupid. Like, you sound stupid. Like, I am so glad. I think Abdul Al-Sayed I think he's gaining in the polls, right? He's like the #1 choice now, right? Thank goodness, because she is pissing me off. She pisses me off. What do you mean? I just don't, I'm not committed to one side. Then why should people vote for you? Then why should people vote for you? Like, what makes you different from anyone? Nothing. You're just like, I don't even know what I believe. That's why again, the Democrats keep doing this. That's why. See, Democrats are winning now, yes, but that's because people just hate Trump and hate Republicans. But and even Republicans are voting for Democrats now because they're so mad at Trump. But besides the point, the reason that they were losing before is because of shit like this. Because of like, well, I don't really know what my opinion is. I don't really have an opinion. You know, just, whatever. Who cares? Like, what do you mean? Oh, well, I'm not on either side. No, you just want to get money from everywhere. That's what this is. You want to get money from everywhere, and you want to get money from every PAC, and you don't want to alienate any PAC, and so now you can't have like any positions on anything, ever. It's ridiculous.
On the ground change.
I guess then to that end, why do you support funding to Israel's defense infrastructure? What is, I guess, sort of your positive vision?
She can't even answer. She said, I looked it up, 3630. Okay, and we were talking about where she asked Matt about his family. Okay, thank you. Let me see where we are. I think we might almost be there. No, thing is in the way. 30, yeah, we're a couple minutes there. Okay, perfect. And then I think I'm going to end it there, and then we have end this video there. Then I have a couple other things on Twitter, and then I gotta see where my cat is. She was having the zoomies, and now I don't know where she is. So, oh, there she is. Oh, she's staring at me. I think she's mad. She's just like staring at me. She loves attention, and I haven't. And when she was asking for it, I didn't give it to her. So now she's just like staring at me. Okay.
In supporting that policy, you know what I mean?
Because I don't think anybody should live in fear of being bombed or killed. I would look at how do we support defense.
Oh, you don't. Okay. So then you shouldn't support defensive weapons because that is what they are doing. That is what they are doing to everybody else. What do you mean?
Defensive systems for Palestinians. How would we support defensive systems for Lebanese?
Should they get an Iron Dome too, the Palestinians?
Well, let's talk about that as a conversation.
Well, I mean,
the horror.
I love how Matt's like, well, how about we just stop the genocide? Like, like, this is crazy. You know, we could just be like, yeah, Israel's the aggressor. Let's stop enabling them. But instead it's like, oh no, should we also give Palestinians an Iron Dome too? I love how Matt is like, let's de-escalate this. Like, well, you know, how about we stop enabling Israel to do the genocide? You know, like, how about we do that instead?
Of living in fear of being bombed constantly. Let's work with the outcome of how do we end the violence, period.
But I mean,
but then backing away from that, how do we protect people?
I think then, though, that sort of probes at like maybe we're coming from different worldviews here a little bit, because my worldview, and I think one that Emma has been talking about as well, is like multiculturalism, where we live amongst each other and where multiculturalism and a respect for one another keeps us safe. And so like, I don't want to talk about like everyone getting their Iron Dome and everyone arming up and everyone getting more and more defensive and offensive and everyone getting more violent and everyone, I mean, you know, I just did an episode that actually comes out today, which I'm very excited about, with Naomi Klein, about Tucker Carlson's worldview that he has been espousing as of late. And he does view the world that way, where, you know, in America, we should bunker down and have our white Christian nation, and everyone else is bunkered down in their own very racialized nations as well, with like tons of weapons, and we're all segregated. And like, I just find that to be such a grim reality, you know?
Yes.
And so I think, like, I'm wondering if your politics could come from a different place philosophically, where it's not like, what about...
And I'm so happy they're asking this, because like, these are things that I just want to ask a lot of these Dems who are like Mallory and McMorrow, who like refuse to have a position on anything, refuse to take a stand on anything, and are just, you know, sway in the wind depending on the day what they believe or think or say. And I think it's great. I think it's great because, yeah, it's like you are coming from different points of view. Like, a lot of people on the left are coming from the point of view of like, people shouldn't have to sit here and have to defend themselves against a genocide, right? Like, we should have this should have already stopped. Like, we should have already stopped enabling them. We shouldn't have allowed them to occupy Gaza. We shouldn't have allowed them to do a lot of the things that we shouldn't have enabled them to do a lot of the things that Israel has done. Like, we have been doing this for decades, and we are coming from a different position, because a lot of corporate Dems are coming from the position of not necessarily like, oh, they need to defend themselves, but that's also money, right? Like, that's money that our defense manufacturers are getting. That's money that's in our economy that they're stock trading over, that they're insider trading over, you know? And so a lot of it is, I think they see war or genocide or, you know, all of these things, they see it as more of a business and more of a monetary thing than they do care about the lives that are being lost. And I really do, because that's why they're like, well, you know, we can still give them defensive weapons, because then all of these weapons contractors, all these weapons manufacturers are getting shit tons of money, and then they are insider trading on these weapon manufacturers based on the bills that they are passing, and then they make their own money. And so I think, yeah, we are coming from different points of view, you know?
About funding also the Palestinian Iron Dome, where it's about taking away the Iron Dome from Israel, this thing that...
I know, right? That was wild. Let's give everyone an Iron Dome. I know. It's like, no, how about everyone stops trying to like conquer each other? Like, how about we realize, yes, there are a finite amount of resources on this planet, but there's enough for everyone. So if we stop all trying to take advantage of everybody else to get all the resources and hoard all the resources for ourselves or for our prospective country, like, it's like, how about we don't do that? How about we don't do that? How about, like, it's just, God, it's so annoying. Yeah. No, everyone just needs to have an Iron Dome, and, like, that's it. It's not, like, it's not, how about let's stop the violence? Let's stop the genocide? No, it's just everyone needs to have an Iron Dome, and weapons manufacturers need to be even more wealthy and more powerful. Yippee, I don't know. Just, ugh.
In my opinion, allows them to continue operating as a genocidal apartheid state unchecked.
No, and I think where you and I find agreement here is exactly that. Ideally, we should be at a place where we're not armed to the teeth against each other. We are a multicultural society in our country, and yet we have more guns than we have people in the United States.
Yes.
I sat on the state Senate floor below 4 men with AR-15s and full tactical vests who, I promise you, wanted me dead. That is not the world that I want to live in. The goal, yes, is let's have multicultural societies where we're not attacking each other. I do start at that place. And I want to make sure that I go in recognizing that I would have a responsibility. I have a responsibility today as a state senator to check my personal beliefs at the door sometimes and make decisions that are in the best interest
I don't
of
think you have personal beliefs. I don't think you have personal beliefs. I think the question is coming up now. I don't think you have personal beliefs.
As many people as possible.
And do you think the Iron Dome is in service of that?
I would love to get to a place where it's not needed. Period.
She's so exhausted with this questioning. She's like, can we just stop? She's like, I just want to stop.
For anybody.
Okay. Do you believe Israel has committed and is committing a genocide?
Yeah, we went through this on our campaign. Based on the legal definition, I've said this, I do believe that it meets the definition. What I also heard in response from many of my constituents who had family that they lost in the Holocaust is there is such a personal, visceral reaction to that word.
What? Wait, so we can't call it a genocide? So you're like, I do think it meets the definition, but I don't want to call it a genocide, even though it is a genocide and it meets the definition? What do you mean? What? What? Oh my God. Her personal beliefs are like tumbleweed blowing in the wind. Again, yes, 100%. Yes. Feelings over facts, I guess. Exactly. It's like, okay, so you acknowledge that it meets it, but because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, you're like, I can't call it a genocide, but like, I guess definitionally, yeah, I guess it is. Like, what? Oh my God.
That moves us apart from each other. And when I believe that most people in both the Jewish community and the Arab community and people who are not impacted want the same outcome, why would we spend our time debating whether or not you agree with the definition of a word and recognizing we have the coalition who wants the same thing?
Because once we recognize that it's a genocide, then there's actionable things that have to happen after that, right? Then we actually have to hold the people in our government and the people in Israel's government accountable, right? Then we actually have to start doing things like that if we acknowledge what this is. But the reason you don't want to acknowledge what this is because you say you want there to be a solution, but you don't. You don't actually care about fixing anything. You don't actually care about having a solution, because admitting that it's a genocide and actually in our government actually committing to that definition would mean that we would have to start taking some action, and you obviously don't want to do that. You have no interest in that, and she's shown as much in this interview.
How do we keep them together?
I think that the definition is important because of international law, and we're seeing right now the Trump administration and, frankly, the Biden administration was also a part of the degradation of international law and the rules-based international.
Her face when Emma's talking is so funny.
Order. And, you know, there was a Quinnipiac poll from August 2025. This has probably increased since then, that 77% of Democrats, over half of independents, believe that Israel is committing genocide. Don't you think that it's important to articulate that just to support international law at a time when the foreign policy of the United States, and by extension Israel, is might makes right?
I think it is important to listen to everybody that I would be asking for faith and trust.
She keeps going back to that. She keeps going, I just gotta listen to everyone. I can't make my own decisions because I just have to listen to everyone.
To represent, and to build the coalition that we need to hit the same goals. There is no doubt that war crimes have been committed. There is no doubt that the pain and suffering at the vast expense of our taxpayer dollars, Matt, to your point, that we continue to pay for this, needs to end. And I want to keep my people together at a moment when so much of the emphasis is on how to tear them apart.
Yeah, I don't mean to be pedantic. I really, really don't with like the genocide label. But I think to me, identifying it as a genocide is important to, like Emma said, give an internationally understood and legal label to what is currently happening.
I wonder, is this now? I think this is probably where she's going to ask him that question, which is crazy, which is crazy, which is insane.
To a group of people. And to me, like anyone's feelings about that word, I think are not as important as like recognizing what is still happening to people right now.
Recognizing
which
what
is
fact.
A genocide under international law, you know?
How does your family feel about it? How are those conversations going?
Well, you know, it
depends on the family
member, and it's tense, but ultimately I assume.
Well, see, and like I hate that she did that because I guess she's so but my thing is that I think she's tired of getting questioned on this, and so she asks Matt, she's like, you know, how does your family feel, Matt? Because you know Matt's Jewish, and so and he's very outspoken, and so she's like, so how does your family feel? Which is crazy because he's explicitly saying it doesn't matter what people feel. It matters what the fact of the matter is. And the fact of the matter is that this is a genocide. And once we can recognize that, once people the reason we need to recognize that and the reason that you have to recognize that it meets that definition is because of international law. She's just like, well, you know, I mean, I'm just here to listen to everybody, you know. It's like, no, okay. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah, that was Mallory McMorrow. Now here's Hassan. So I guess Hassan was hyping up Emma, which, yes, I love Emma. She's incredible, and I love her so much because just compare, like, Emma talking to Mallory McMorrow and, like, Anna talking to any Republican. You know what I'm saying? Like, Anna... like... I just love Emma because Emma is going to ask the hard questions and she's going to push back, and I love her for that. Anyway.
You're welcome.
Some people conflate Medicare for all with universal health care. But Medicare for all, when it's actually defined, is one singular government-run healthcare system that we are all on. Now, I want you to imagine what that would look like.
See, there were people clapping and then listen.
With Donald Trump and RFK Jr. at the head of it.
Emma, do you want...
Dumb. What a dumb thing to say. What a dumb thing to say. So we shouldn't have any social programs because Republicans may be in power at some point. Our tax dollars should... Funny how we were just talking about how our tax dollars are going to wars and bombing and murdering people and how we shouldn't do that anymore and how we don't have the money for that. But they also simultaneously can't go to social problems because who knows, one day Republicans are in control. Republicans are already in control, man. They're already in control. What do you mean? Like, the reason Democrats are not in control is because of the stupid shit that you're saying. It's because of this dumb shit that you're saying that doesn't make any sense. So we shouldn't have any social safety nets because you are worried about Trump. Trump is already here, man. He's already getting rid of everything. And none of the Democrats seem to want to fight against that or hold up these or want to hold up all of this rules and institutions that they say they care so deeply about. They don't seem to be protecting it. They don't seem to be fighting back against his destruction of them. So I don't even know what she's talking about. That anti-government take. Yeah, why should government programs exist at all? Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like that's what Republicans say all the time. They're like, do you really want the Democrats to be in charge of this or that? Like, they do the same thing. It's like, it's a conservative argument.
You want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So State Senator McMorrow.
Oh! Get in there, Emma!
Is Hassan hyping up Emma before she barely says anything yet? It's so fucking valid. She is mother. Yes. I love her. And she did so good, and he was right to hype her up, and you could tell, like, I think by the time they started, because they talked about healthcare first, then they started talking about Palestine, and I think by the time that they got to Palestine, that's why she was being so petty with Emma, because she was just so sick of being questioned about the bullshit that she says that came out of her own mouth.
It feels like the implication of your framing there is that government healthcare programs shouldn't be trusted because Trump and RFK Jr. are leading them. Are there other programs, specifically healthcare programs or social programs, you think should be cut because Trump and RFK Jr. are currently in charge of them?
No, that's not at all what I intended. And, why fundamentally and firmly believe that we need access to universal health care. We need to get there as quickly as possible. In the state Senate, I have led on efforts to codify the...
She really has like no views at all. Like every single time she talks, everything that comes out of her mouth just doesn't make sense. And it's like contradicting the last thing she just said. Like she has no beliefs, she has no policy, she has no foundation. She's just saying shit. That's all she's doing. Because now she's like, oh no, we need to get there as fast as possible. Oh, now you say that. Interesting. Funny that now your tune has changed.
Affordable Care Act on the state level, so you can't lose your health care with a pre-existing condition. We repealed our 1931 abortion ban. We helped expand.
So funny. Her excuse for making that statement is just jokes legalize comedy. It was just a joke. Oh my God. She's not. See, like, Trump can get away with that because he's charismatic, being like, oh, he was just joking. I mean, he can't get away with that anymore. But he used to be able to get away with it. I feel like she's not charismatic enough to get away with it. And then the last thing that I wanted to watch before I get off and hang out with my cat, because she wants to go to bed. She's sitting on my bed right now, staring at me, is Zoran. And so I wanted to talk about him because in the midst of all of people like Mallory McMorrow that refuse to take a stance and are just like, you're right, like tumbleweed and blowing in the wind. That's where her opinion lies that day. And then you have people over here being like, oh, we should bring in Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Marjorie Taylor Greene sacrificed her career and all this other bullshit. Here we have Zoran Mamdani reinventing a Reagan quote. And I am so happy. Just on the tails of Mallory McMorrow being like super anti-government, then saying, oh, it was a joke. Here is what Zoran is saying, and this is why this makes me happy. Anyway.
And standing here this morning, I cannot help but think of the words of our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. He famously said, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. It's a good quote, but I disagree. I think 9 more terrifying words are actually, I worked all day and can't feed my family.
Yes. Exactly. And I love that he turned it around because, again, the anti-government line that she did that was just a joke, I guess. Okay. But that anti-government sentiment is a conservative sentiment, and it is, and that's why I am so happy that he turned that around. Yes, he's great, he's wonderful. Glad he turned it around. Yes, claps for him. All right. Well, that was the show today. Thank you everyone so much for being here. I, of course, will keep everyone updated on NALA after I figure out how much everything is going to cost and how the Humane Society is going to help me. I might do a GoFundMe or something, just depending. So I don't know. Yeah. But yes, I will see you all later. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And then on Wednesday, we're going to talk about TYT again. Yeah. No, I'm actually really excited. I'm so excited to talk about that. And yeah, that's about it. Well, all right. Before I go, thank you to my members. Thank you, Creflo. Thank you, Hey Skip J. Thank you. I will have fun with her. Thank you. Yeah, she's tired. It's so funny. She doesn't like sleep in my lap or like get in my lap yet. I think she will. I think she's just I think it's just gonna take a minute for her to get comfortable with that kind of stuff. Because I'm sure being taken by like animal control in the Humane Society was a very traumatic experience for her, and so I'm sure she doesn't really like containment, so she doesn't really like being held and stuff. So it makes sense. But yeah, she's just sitting on my bed, and I can tell that she's like, okay, it's bedtime. Anyway, thank you, Creflo. Thank you, Hey Skip J, for being members. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I love you very much, and I will see you all in the next video on Wednesday. All right, bye.